For years, my life seemed like a fairy tale. I met David at a coffee shop when I was 23. He was charming, attentive, and made me feel like the only woman in the world. We got married within a year, and for a while, everything felt perfect. We moved into a cozy house, adopted a golden retriever named Max, and built what I thought was a solid future together. David worked long hours as a project manager, often traveling for business. I trusted him completely after all, why wouldn't I? He never gave me a reason to doubt him. Every anniversary, he'd surprised me with handwritten letters about how lucky he felt to have me. Our friends called us the couple everyone envies. But little did I know, behind those loving words and thoughtful gestures, there was a carefully constructed lie. The cracks began to show when I found a receipt in his jacket pocket for a hotel stay, dated just last week. My heart sank, but I told myself there had to be an explanation. Right. I tried to shake off the uneasy feeling. Maybe the receipt was old, or perhaps it was for a client meeting I didn't know about. But the more I tried to forget it, the more little things started adding up. David's phone would buzz at odd hours, and he'd quickly turn it face down. He began working late more frequently, sometimes not coming home until 2 a.m. When I asked if everything was okay, he'd smile and say, "Just a busy quarter, babe. You know how it is." One night, I heard him laughing softly in the other room, a tone I'd never heard before. Curious, I tiptoed to the doorway and saw him on a video call. His face lit with a warmth I rarely saw directed at me anymore. He ended the call quickly when he noticed me, brushing it off as a work thing. That's when I realized. The man I married was hiding something, and I was determined to find out what. I knew I shouldn't snoop, but my gut was screaming. That night, after David fell asleep, I grabbed his phone from the nightstand. It was password protected, but I knew his birthday, a code had never changed. What I found made my stomach churn. Dozens of messages to a contact labeled a Dada. Flirty, intimate, far beyond what colleagues would share. "Can't wait to see you tomorrow," one read. "You make me feel alive again," said another. My hands trembled as I scrolled further. There were photos too, selfies of David in hotel rooms, restaurants I'd never been to, and then a calendar invite titled "Our Spot 8 p.m. with an address I didn't recognize. I took screenshots, my heart pounding. Part of me wanted to confront him right then, but another part needed proof. Real, undeniable proof. So I did something I never thought I'd do. I hired a private investigator. 2 weeks later, the investigator handed me a folder. Inside were photos of David and a woman beautiful, with long brown hair and a designer coat, entering hotels, holding hands, laughing. The dates matched his business trips. There was even a receipt from a jewelry store, a necklace purchased with my anniversary money. The worst part? Her name was Amanda and she was pregnant. The report confirmed they'd been together for over a year. My world shattered. I sat on the floor of our bedroom, clutching the evidence, and let myself cry for the first time in months. How could I have been so blind? I replayed every moment, the late nights, the secret smiles, the way he'd pull away when I tried to hug him. It all made sense now. But anger soon replaced grief. I wasn't going to be the victim in this story. I deserved answers. And more than that, I deserved dignity. I waited until David came home from work. He kissed my cheek like always, asked about my day, and started making dinner. I watched him move around the kitchen. The man I'd loved for nearly a decade and felt nothing but emptiness. "We need to talk," I said, my voice steady. He froze, spatula in hand. "About what?" I placed the folder on the counter. "About Amanda. About the hotels. About the baby." His face went white. For a moment, he said nothing. Then, "I can explain." "Explain what?" I snapped. "How you lied to me for a year. How you spent our money on her. How you're going to be a father to someone else's child." He tried to reach for me, but I stepped back. "Don't. Just tell me why." His answer shocked me. "I never stopped loving you." But she made me feel wanted again. The audacity of it made me laugh, a bitter, hollow sound. "So you cheated because you felt unwanted? That's your excuse?" He had no reply. The next few days were a blur. I moved into my sister's apartment, taking only my clothes and Max. David called non-stop, leaving voicemails begging me to come back. "It's over with her," he insisted. "I made a mistake. Please, give me another chance." But I knew better. Mistakes are wartime things. This was a pattern, a deliberate choice Head made over and over. I filed for divorce, citing adultery. The paperwork felt like a weight lifting. Meanwhile, Amanda reached out. At first, I thought she'd be defensive, but her message was unexpected. "I'm sorry. I didn't know he was married." She'd believed he was divorced, she explained. Head told her his wife had left him years ago. The depth of his deception stunned me. He hadn't just betrayed me, Head manipulated her too. For the first time, I felt a flicker of sympathy for the other woman. But sympathy didn't change my path. I was done. Divorce proceedings were messy. David fought hard to keep our house, claiming I'd abandoned the marriage. His lawyer argued I was overreacting to a momentary lapse in judgment. I presented the evidence, the photos, messages, and financial records. The judge wasn't impressed with his defense. In court, David finally broke. "I'm sorry," he whispered, eyes red. "I never meant to hurt you." But apologies didn't erase the damage. The settlement gave me the house, half his retirement fund, and full custody of Max. As I signed the final papers, I felt neither victory nor relief, just exhaustion. The real work was ahead. Rebuilding my life. I started therapy, joined a support group for women in similar situations, and even took a painting class, something I'd always wanted to try. Slowly, I began to remember who I was outside of David's wife. After the divorce was finalized, I felt like I was emerging from a long, dark tunnel. The first thing I did, I changed my phone number, not out of spite, but to reclaim my privacy. Then I repainted the living room walls from David's preferred beige to a vibrant teal. Something I'd always loved but had called to bold. I started small, cooking meals I actually enjoyed, not the safe dishes he preferred, playing music loudly while cleaning, and even dancing in the kitchen at midnight. One weekend, I drove to the coast, just me and Max, and watched the sunrise over the ocean. Sitting there, the salt air in my hair, I realized something profound. I wasn't broken. I was becoming. I enrolled in a photography class, something I'd dreamed of since college. My teacher, an older woman named Eleanor, said, "You have a knack for capturing light in shadows." It felt like she was describing my life. Slowly, I began rebuilding not just my routine, but my sense of self. 6 months after the divorce, I ran into Amanda at a coffee shop. She was alone, nursing a latte, when she looked up and our eyes met. Neither of us spoke at first. Then she gestured to the empty chair across from her. "Mind if I?" I hesitated, but sat down. What followed was a conversation that lasted 3 hours. Amanda wasn't the other woman I'd imagined. She'd been lied to David had told her he was separated, that his wife was abusive and unloving. When she found out the truth, she'd ended things immediately. I felt so stupid, she admitted. But then I realized. We were both victims. We didn't become best friends overnight, but we agreed to meet for lunch occasionally. Through her, I saw how David's deceit had rippled outward, hurting everyone he touched. And in helping her heal, I found new strength in my own recovery. We even started a small support group for people betrayed by partners, a safe space to share, cry, and laugh. With time on my hands, I revisited an old passion. Writing. I'd kept a journal since high school, but never shared it. One night, I typed up a raw, honest essay about discovering the betrayal, the anger, the shame, the tiny moments of courage. I posted it on a small blog, not expecting much. Within days, hundreds of comments poured in. "This is my story, thank you for giving me words, I thought I was alone." Emboldened, I started a newsletter, Phoenix Letters, where I shared my journey, along with tips for rebuilding after heartbreak. Subscriptions grew steadily. Soon, a publishing agent reached out. "We'd love to turn your essays into a book." It felt surreal. Me, a writer. But as I sat at my desk, typing late into the night, I realized this was my purpose. I wasn't just telling my story, I was helping others find theirs.